Well, let's go through your average schedule at this point. What does your writing day look like?
Suffering.
Sure. What time does the suffering begin and how long does it last for?
It depends because you know what? Today I was lying in bed and then I was like, oh, if I call Alexa now, she's gonna respond. But I was like, um, Lexa, wake me up at because I knew that like this was gonna happen at like 5 p.m. my time. So I was like, Lexa, wake me up at 3 p.m. And then she was like, oh, I will wake you up at 3 p.m. tomorrow. And then that made me realize I like it was already like 3:45. And then I was like, oh, I better wake up. So yeah, today I woke up at like 3:45 p.m. and that's a pretty regular thing for me, but it's not regular for me to not realize it. I was like, oh man, I must have
45.
passed out.
Are you a night owl then?
Definitely. Most of my writing, unfortunately, does get done at in the middle of the night. It's something that I wish didn't wasn't the case, but somehow it is. Like somehow my creative juices just flow more freely during the night. I have a suspicion that it's because I'm meant to be in the old world, like in the Chinese time zone. That's how my body is adapted. But I don't know. Probably if I went back into China, I would like be on a Canadian time zone again. Just for some reason, I always have to like my creativity just only flows at night. So I wake up whenever. This can be anytime between 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And then I wake up, I get something to eat, though not right now because it's Ramadan. So I wake up. If it's not Ramadan, I get something to eat, and then I somehow and then I look at my inbox. I go because today I woke up to like 12 new emails in my inbox, and I was like So I do that. I agonize for a while over emails. I may or may not answer them. Depends. Depends on how I'm feeling. And then somehow I basically this somehow just stuff things happen, and then all of a sudden it's in the middle of the night where I can finally get started on my writing. And I write on this is my secret weapon. I write on an AlphaSmart 3000, a word processor, and it only has like this much, like 4 lines of space where you can see like what you've written, so it prevents you from going back and editing. And it also like it does nothing else, so it's really distraction free. And I wrote the entirety of Zachary on this, which is super helpful. So yes, for all of the writers out there and who find it really difficult to concentrate, this like get yourself an AlphaSmart. It will like really help you with things. So yes, and it may not be 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. where I finally get too tired to keep going and I go to sleep. So that is my very, very chaotic and not at all glamorous schedule.
Well, when you've got only 4 lines, you're not going back, you're not checking it, you're just only going forward. Do you have any other screen or any other piece of paper with notes about for where do you keep your outline? Is the outline printed up someplace?
Oh, it's not. It's on my computer. And then before I write, I like look at my outline on my computer, and then I look at what's supposed to be happening, and then I go on my AlphaSmart, and then I try to just like type it out. I try to go for it.
Now, what's a successful day look like for you? Do you have like a word count you're trying to hit? Do you have a scene you want to get to?
Yes. My goal every day is 2,000 words, and then some days I hit it. Most of the days I do not. But you know what? Like words are words, and eventually, you keep it up for enough, and eventually a book comes out, and that's all that matters. Just I try not to beat myself up too much about it anymore, but yeah, eventually a book comes out, and that's what matters.
Well, I imagine if you're working at night, one nice thing about that is once you've gotten through the bottom of your inbox, then it's done because everybody else is in bed, the world is quiet, and you can just focus, right?
Exactly. Unless stuff from my UK publisher comes to me and they're just like, oh hey, at like 3 a.m. like, hey, Xiran, I want to do this event. I'm like,
So, and then how about reading? Do you slot in time for reading as well?
Yes, the reading, oh my God, reading happens before I go to bed. So there's a time where like, okay, so it's like 3 a.m. is the time where in my head I'm mentally like, okay, you should really go to bed now. It is 3 a.m. And then that's the time where I like put away all my things, my computer, and then I lie down on bed, and then I open my Kindle and start reading. I don't, it's probably not it's not the best habit, but then I always have to just like read a little bit before I go to bed.
I think reading before bed is like one of the most healthy habits you could possibly have.
Oh,
Esteemed
really?
audience,
Okay.
read before bed.
Yes. So yes, I always have to read a little bit before bed.
Some of you aren't reading enough. Read more.
I know.
So, and we talk like I'm talking to you about this. Like, I don't know that you have other things you have to do, like making time for us today, which we appreciate. Then you've got other author events. You've got your launch coming up, although having it just happened by the time esteemed audience is hearing us. How do you manage all of the author events and promotion that you need to do? And then we'll get to social media because that's we haven't even touched that yet.
Oh man, I don't really. I have a schedule in a sticky note, a digital sticky note on my computer, and then every day I just look at what I have to do. If something's happening the next day, then I try to go to bed at a reasonable time, and I set an alarm. And I think doing these events is fun and necessary because otherwise my days would be like so monotonous that time passes by really fast, and then I kind of like get into a slump. And I think doing events energizes me to like keep writing, because then because like so much of writing is just like being in your room and being alone, and then I don't think you fully feel the impact of like the stuff that you're doing until like you go out and then you meet people who are like big fans of your work, and you're like, wow, I am like really reaching out to a lot of people. Like I better like I better like write the sequel faster. So many of them are asking me for it. So yeah, being able to feel the impact that you have on people is super powerful, and it manages to energize me. So yeah, I do like doing in-person events, and then I cannot wait to do my tour of the United States for Zachary Yin. I'm gonna be doing like a whole circle. Like there's Boston, and then I'm going to Austin, and then San Diego, and of course there's New York. So yes, I'm just gonna go in a loop around the coast.
What's been your favorite reader reaction to something you've written so far?
Oh, yes, I have a definitive one. And it's actually a post that I saw on Tumblr. And it's about this poster who was in France. And then they were like, oh, I was looking at the French edition of Iron Widow in a bookstore longingly, and then my dad was like, "Oh, like I'll just get it." And then their dad read it, and then in their next phone call to their dad was like, "Oh, so I read that book about Chinese people that you picked up. It was really good. Is there more?" So that's my favorite reaction, just because of how wholesome it is. Like now my book is the book about Chinese people, I guess, which is it's super funny, but I'm really glad that this like random French dad enjoyed my book.
I mean, it's technically not inaccurate. I don't know about the, but it's a.
Yeah.